Hi, I'm Prajakta. I'm a registered dietitian, gut health expert, and holistic healer with over 20 years of experience. I help people heal their digestion, balance their hormones, and restore their sense of well being. Most people think that chronic sickness just comes out of the blue. You are fine one day, and next you are battling fatigue, gastrointestinal issues, and dealing with anxiety. But really, the symptoms you are going through are really just the tip of the iceberg. The saga really begins years ago, behind the scenes, long before you ever get a diagnosis. Today, I would like to take you through what chronic disease actually is using one of my go to visuals, the iceberg graphic. For over a decade, I have been helping people get to the bottom of why their health is suffering so that they can finally feel normal in their body. And I have seen a pattern. Everybody attempts to repair what's going on above the waterline, the surface symptoms, but never touching what's going on below. That's why they remain stagnant. So let's go ahead and have a look and see what's really going on underneath the surface. Suppose you are gazing at the iceberg. The slender tip of the iceberg sticking out above the waterline is what you can see. Your symptoms. It could be headache, joint pain, bloating, or fatigue. That's what sends most people to the doctor's office. What about what's below the waterline? That's the submerged pain that has been accumulating over many years. This is where disease really begins. And the key is this: it's not something, it's many somethings. Physically, you might discover bad or poor diet, lack of lifestyle support, constantly driving yourself beyond your limits, not self caring, not exercising enough, or even exercising too much. Repeated exposure to toxins in your food, air, or the personal care products that you use, even abnormal breathing pattern. Each and every one of them stresses your body, typically silently, well before symptoms manifest. And then there is the emotional stuff. This stuff that many of us don't always want to own up, but that brings us down. This involves unresolved emotional trauma, being constantly having bad boundaries or people pleasing, perfectionism, constantly feeling like you're not doing enough, toxic relationships, lack of passion or purpose, emotional burnout, and being in survival mode all the time. So ask yourself, do any of these sound familiar? Most people can identify with at least a few of them. This is where the actual distress begins. And you may not even have symptoms or a diagnosis yet. But if you screw up here, the domino effect begins. Here is what happens: genetic tendencies can be triggered at this point. Maybe you have ever heard somebody say, Hashimoto's runs in my family, or gut problems run in my family, so I will surely get it too. And although genetics play a role, keep this in mind that genetics load the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. And once those genes are turned on, your cellular energy begins to lag. Consider your batteries perpetually running low. Low energy predisposes to inflammation and eventually organ failure. And now the body is even more susceptible. When cellular energy is in short supply, this can occur. It can compromise your digestion. Nutrient deficiencies can result. The lining of your intestine is broken and can lead to leaky gut. The balance of the gut microbiome is upset. Blood sugar and insulin regulation collapse. Hormones may get out of balance. Chronic infections establish themselves. Even detoxification pathways get blocked and toxins start to build up in your body. Eventually, symptoms appear on the surface. You may be diagnosed with anxiety or depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, digestive issues such as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, IBS, or ulcerative colitis, chronic pain or fibromyalgia, even multiple chemical sensitivities, autoimmunity, mold illness, and even cancer. This is why it seems that all things are crashing down at the same time. In fact, though the foundations were established years ago beneath the surface, and one more piece of the puzzle we can't help but see is nervous system dysregulation. When your nervous system is always in fight or flight mode, it derails all the organ systems. And if you are having issues with your gut or with your hormones, these become additional stressors that feed back into the nervous system. It's two-way and it's a cycle. And there is the lesson in a nutshell. Chronic illness does not just pop up overnight. It takes years to develop, starting down beneath the surface in the form of physiological and psychological stressors. By the time you see symptoms above the waterline, the iceberg below has years of development. But the good news is you can heal from the ground up. When we restore and nurture body and mind at those lower levels through proper diet, balanced lifestyle, emotional repair, regulation of the nervous system, we can actually reverse the disease. Next time you catch yourself wondering how you got your symptoms, remember they are part of a much bigger story. And you do get to choose how that story turns out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more tips on healing your gut and achieving a balanced state of physical, mental, and emotional health. And don't forget to share it with the person you love because everyone deserves to feel their best. Thank you for watching.